Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sama. So I want to share this with you guys, this story of a young boy in university that reportedly ended it all because he was struggling academically. You know, it's one of those videos that I think, that especially those of us that have grown children, or those of us that have children, that our children are growing up, or those of us that are planning to have children eventually, I think there are some lessons we can learn from this, because as parents, sometimes we may be pushing our children for success, but we need to pray to be able to know the balance. I'm not saying this boy's parents pushed him. I'm just saying we can take this from his story and apply to our own situations as parents to know how far is too far, how much can we push them, when do we begin to ask ourselves how pressurized our children feel. This story really is hard. Okay, let me read it to you guys the way it's posted. So this is a picture of this boy, and these are the screenshots. People apparently got it from Instablog Niger. So let me read his text messages that gave people a clue as to his struggles, right? So you see that says, I just need ginger. For anyone that does not know, ginger is like motivation. Sorry, that's the English word. The best way is Nigerian pidgin is the way they use words in different ways, but it says, I need motivation, okay? He say, now be the thing, as I resume late like this, everything just tire me. Basically, you know, that's the thing, or that's the problem. Considering that I resumed late, everything just tire me. I'm just tired of everything, fed up of everything. It's normally like that, right? Yeah, me like this now won't read GS. I don't know what that GS is. I say myself, I want to read or I want to study something. I don't know what GS means. If you know what GS is, abbreviation for something, I don't know. Okay, it says GS self now another thing entirely, and this person replied and said GS is completely a different thing altogether. Man never even touch him at all, like meaning he hasn't touched that one at all. ASU do us bad, meaning because of ASU strike. ASU strike has been going on. Is the university workers, you know, when they strike, lecturers and co, when they strike because the government has not paid them. At the end of the day, this is another person that Nigeria has happened to. When children are missing so many aspects of their education. So where do they start? Even if they were doing well and then they're on holidays or on break, not holidays, because of the strike, they're at home. Okay, let me not go there. Okay, it says it big, meaning it's massive, right? Okay, this one then wrote and said academics won't push person into depression. Okay, and says, but I go try fight him. I'll try and fight against it. See, books be like addiction. It says, since I resume like this, I'm not happy at all. So since I've resumed school, I'm not happy at all. Just start reading when you start. So start studying, you know, when you start. Vibes just lost. Completely lost the vibe. Okay, he says, the urge to read more go come. This one is advising and say the urge to read will eventually come. You know, when I resume, man, I felt like that. But with time and fear of failure, I got buckle up, man. So, you know, that's another thing. What fear can do to them, psychologically, emotionally, can really rob them of happiness. You know, that can cause a lot of anxiety. So he says, though normally that year one passion for academics isn't there like that anymore, okay? But still, read. Know how you feel like you aren't grabbing anything, but trust me, you are, right? He said, thank you, boss, for the words of encouragement. I appreciate. That was the last message, and he decided to, you know, end it all. I read that. It's really sad, and I just thought to myself, like I always say, if there's something I feel like we can learn from a story, whatever, I like to bring it here for us to discuss it. I think to a great extent, you know, we as parents, we want our children to do well. Not even for anything else, but for us to be able to say, yes, we've raised them, they are independent financially and everything, and they can face their own future even without you. But I think sometimes we should reflect on the area of, you know, what about when a child is struggling? I had experience where, you know, during COVID, one of my children that was doing so well. They all do well, but this particular child was doing really, really well. And then lockdown came and they were doing online schooling, and he struggled. He just felt like it was not the same vibe, and he began to really struggle academically. And this is someone that his grades were up there. All his grades were very good grades and everything. He started struggling. There was one day he just like broke down, and he was like, the online schooling was not going in. And I'm here as a parent. I still want him to do well, but at the same time, I knew he was struggling. You get my point? And when that happens, what do we do as parents? Do we keep pushing and say, you must do, you must do? You get my point? I'm talking about my children in universities. One of them woke up and said, you know what? She wants to take a year off. I was like, why? She said she wanted a mental break. I said, okay. I have friends that are saying, no, why would she take a year off? She has to do school. I said, no, it's not my brain she's using to do the studying. It's her own brain. If she says she needs a mental break, who am I to say no? Even though I would have loved her to just go ahead, finish, and then say, don't finish. You know, sometimes too, as parents, we want to say, okay, oh, I finished raising this one. Oh, thank you, Jesus. But I decided, you know what? If she says she needs mental break, let her take it. And she took it. And then after the 1 year break, she went back to school. I'm just talking about how sometimes we as parents, like that particular boy now, I just read about, I'm thinking he needed a mental break. Funny enough, one of my friends that I was sharing the story with, she was like, these children, why can't she just finish? She's being honest as a parent. That's how her own, you know, what she had to say about it. Guess what? That my friend, I was saying, these children, this year, her own child has started to take a year off. And what is she doing? She left it. I have another friend that the daughter wanted to do medicine. Later, the daughter changed her mind and said, no, she doesn't want to do medicine anymore. She wants to do something else. I told her, leave her. What can you do? I know, I said, even initially I was like, encourage her, tell her, you know, what she can do, you know, encourage her to go ahead and do this medicine. But I said, if at the end of the day she doesn't want to do it, leave her. Because it's not your brain she's going to use. You get my point? I think there's always, you know, a small clash between what we want for our children and what they want for themselves. Because sometimes we want to push because we feel like our push is going to push them into success, which can happen. But I think we should balance it sometimes and realize, okay, when a child is actually needing a break, or when maybe they cannot handle a particular course, that's another one. Sometimes they cannot even handle a particular course. They maybe need another course, or they need another subject, or whatever. I know at the back of our minds it's success that we're thinking about. And sometimes that can cloud our thinking and our judgment. And, you know, we need to, as parents, I'm speaking to myself too, sometimes take a deep breath and weigh things and realize when our children are struggling. And it's even worse if they cannot tell you when they are struggling. It is worse, because this boy now is discussing this with his friend. I don't know if he discussed it with his parents, and maybe he would have told a different line. Or some even may discuss. I didn't say he did. I don't know if he did. But there are children that have discussed with parents. Parents will say, like, you must this, you must that. My own, I'll tell my children, even if you fail, let it not be because you did not try. There are times I say to them, when I'm telling you to pursue this, pursue that, don't forget that I have my own money. I have my own life. It's because I want you to have your own future and your own money. Your parents will not always be around. The important thing is for you to stabilize and be ready to face life on your own. So bear that in mind, that when I'm trying to motivate you to work hard, it is not for my own benefit. It is for your own benefit. I remind my own children sometimes. You know, one area that can be sad sometimes is if you know the potentials of your child and the child is not really using up their potentials. You know that they can do better than what they are doing. I have one of my children, she's in university now, and the school called me and said she doesn't put much effort. I used to tell her, I said, I know you can do better. One day she was like, oh, when she bring her result, that I will say, you could have done better. I said, I'm saying it because I know truly you could have done better. And guess what? One day the school called for me to come for a meeting, and I went, and they told me that she knows the Lord, she has so much potentials that she can do better than she is doing. I came home, I said, you see, when I say it, it's almost like whatever. Your teacher have said exactly. Your school, year head, called me to tell me that you can do better. Is that not what I have been saying in this house? You get my point? So that they don't understand it. Guess what? Even at the end of the year, this same daughter that I'm talking about was what was that award she got? The best student. There were 2 top students in the class. She and one other boy were the top students in the class. Even though she's not even putting effort, whatever, she was still the top student in the class. I have another one she's the only one I left in secondary school. That one, very intelligent, academically does very well. I have another one she's the only one I left in secondary school. That one, very intelligent, academically does very well. But she doesn't like school. But she doesn't like school. Her grades are always high. It's not easy to be a parent, especially if you want to do parenting right. But I pray may God give us wisdom. And at the same time, let's just be careful. I'm speaking to myself too, not to push them too much. This boy's story is quite sad. And I'm hoping that a lot of us can learn from stories like this, that God forbid, you know, your child will not be the next one. I wanted to quickly come and share it. As always, whatever your opinions are, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.